All right. Hello, everyone. This is my first vlog and technically my second day of eating completely vegan. As you can see, I haven't withered away to nothing yet. I got some notes written down, so if you see me looking down, that's what I'm looking at because I need to stay organized. Otherwise, I will start rambling on. All right. So this is my second day eating completely vegan. I guess my first day of letting people know. Yesterday was kind of a bit of a trial run, and it's been mostly, just positive feedback from most people, or people just don't say anything. I've had a couple people say "Oh, I'm disappointed in you," or asking me if I'm okay. Which, yeah, I am. I mean, I made an informed decision. The point of this, I guess, is to try something I've always been curious about, and to kind of take me out of my comfort zone and try something new. And possibly help bring about positive change. I'll touch a bit more on that afterwards. I'll talk about it now. So my main motivator for trying a vegan diet is to help reduce my resource footprint on the planet. Growing meat takes a lot of resources and space, even for most plant, resource equivalent plants. The amount of space taken up between an animal and a plant is vastly different. If you want to learn more about that, or there's plenty of resources. If you want to just be infotained, go watch Cowspiracy. That's the mindset is kind of reducing my contribution to the meat industry and unsustainable practices, and try and help preserve what we have when it comes to the planet. That's my main motivator. I can't really say for as long as I've eaten meat that the whole killing animals aspect of it is what was holding me back or anything, or a motivator not holding me back. Cool. Anyway, I think if that was the case, I would have done this sooner. So, I guess it's nice, but it's not the primary. Does that make me a bad person? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe comment on it. I don't know how this whole YouTube thing works. I think I've always been of the mindset that, if I'm willing to, if I want to eat it, I have to be willing to kill it. I think if it came to that, I'd go out hunting. So maybe in the future, if I do reintroduce meat, that will be how I do it, is hunting wild game in season. But right now I don't really have any plans. I don't really have any end game for this. This is just an experiment. This is just me trying to see for myself what is and is not real when it comes to veganism. One of the big things that I always hear about, big differences that people notice when going on a vegan diet is you'll hear it a lot. They'll say, "Oh, I feel more energetic and I'm always ready to go, after switching to a vegan diet," that they have more energy. So my theory on this is that, plants don't have a whole lot of fat, and fat takes quite a bit of resources in your digestive system to digest. So that means your digestive system needs more blood going to it. So that's just you feeling the effects of not as much blood being needed to digest your meals. And your blood's therefore available for other activities, and less energy is being put into the digestive processes themselves. That's my theory on why vegans feel better. I mean, I've noticed it whenever I eat a high fat meal. You know, I feel lethargic after. I feel like I'm just glued to a chair. Um, but yeah, obviously, if someone doesn't watch what they eat, or they're eating a high fat diet and they suddenly switch to being vegetarian or vegan, where there's very little fats available, especially in vegans diets, or people might not know where to find fats in a vegan diet, and even if they do, they're probably not eating them in the same levels that they would be on a a diet that's heavy in beef. So yeah, it's if you're going from a high fat diet to a diet that's deficient in fat, um, I can see why that's something that a lot of people experience. Um, or another theory that I have about that is athletes in general, if they're not paying attention to their intake, they might not be eating enough carbs, and then suddenly one of their only sources of food is all these carbs and fruits, and now they're eating more carbs where they were maybe under fueled before, and now they're paying attention to their food and they're forced to eat more carbs. I could see that leading to a sort of super compensation, and in the initial phase them feeling a lot more energetic and ready to go in athletes' case. Yeah, so other things, I'm kind of switching out from MyFitnessPal for tracking, which I used probably for the past 2 years, ever since I started tracking my macros, over to Chronometer, because Chronometer allows me to track macros, protein breakdown, so what type of protein I'm actually ingesting and not just how much protein I'm ingesting, minerals, so that I can stay on top of and track the state of all these different things, so that I don't become deficient in any of them, which is important because there are a lot of things that are a lot easier to get into your diet when you're eating meat. So you just kind of have to pay a bit more attention being vegan, to avoid any pitfalls and continue to be healthy, as I've found out. So something like, I'm going to be talking about my experiences and stuff like that, so I'm going to kind of be taking things that obviously apply to the vegan diet, and maybe how to get the best of the vegan diet in a still meat eater's diet. Wow. So kind of like tips for meat eaters to help improve their diets and maybe save a buck or two here and there, and just try and be healthier. And maybe if you're interested in reducing your resource footprint on the planet, but you're not willing to commit to going completely vegan, these are maybe some things that you can also apply to try and help at least reduce it. I mean, the first one would be not eating beef, eating lean pork, chicken, because poultry and pork are less resource intensive. Like, beef is ridiculously resource intensive to produce. So if the biggest thing you can do if you don't want to cut out meats entirely is to cut out beef meat, which you'll also see, because beef tends to be higher in fat, you might be able to also, by indirectly reducing the amount of fats that you're taking in, feel the benefits of being more energetic, from not having your stomach and digestive system have to work so hard to digest those fats. So that would be the first and foremost. The other thing is getting more protein from plants. I know that even when I was eating healthy, I was getting most of my protein from meat. So I was eating a lot of meat because it was, I would get carbs from vegetables, I would get fiber from vegetables, and then, I would have a fat resource, and then protein, which usually the protein all came from meat. So let's say I was eating one chicken breast at a meal, and that chicken breast was 200 grams, and it gave me 40 grams of protein. What if I only needed to use half that chicken breast? So you go to Costco, you spend like, for the sake of simplicity, of math's sake, $24 for like 8 chicken breasts. So that's 8 days worth of food at about $3 per meal that you put that into. Obviously, the meal is going to cost a bit more than $3 with anything else that you add into it. But we're just going to concentrate on the meat for now. So let's say you mix in, 20 grams of protein from kidney beans, which gives you about 60 grams of carbs, but about half of those are fiber, so you're only getting about 30 grams of carbs, and some much needed fiber. I'm saying a lot, I apologize. So back to the chicken breast, you now cut that in half. You now have, you're now using half a chicken breast per meal. So you now have chicken breasts for 16 days, and each meal, the protein content costs $1.50. So you essentially doubled your resources there by including some red kidney beans, which are super cheap. I can't remember the price exactly, but it's way cheaper than chicken. So that's something that you can do. So now you're using 100 grams, and now I gotta stop saying I will work on that for future vlogs. Oh my god. So yeah, so you're using half the resources. Making your diet more diverse, increasing your fiber. I have to cut this off soon before I start saying some more. So tips for meat eaters: try reducing the amount of meat that you use, subbing in plant-based protein sources. If you're not willing to commit to entirely cutting it out, it'll help. Last sentence before I cut this off, guys. I'm really tired and I have to get up early. So comment anything else that you would like to know, any other tips that you might be looking for. My experiences, what I've found, anything like that. Any aspects of the experience that you want to know more about, just comment that or send me a message on Instagram, message me on Instagram or Facebook if you have me on Facebook. But, I'll post my Instagram handle in the comments so you can go check that out. In the future, I'll probably do a video on resources that I found useful for jumping headfirst into this whole vegan thing. It was only about 2.5 weeks ago that I kind of started toying with the idea more, and then I'm like, I'm not ready to do it. And then this weekend I went out, I spent about $200 to get what I needed to get the ball rolling. But that'll last me quite a while, because you'll see if you try it, plant-based food is volume intensive and doesn't weigh a whole lot. So for whatever, you go to Bulk Bar and you get like a pound of something, it'll last you a while. It'll take up tons of space in your cupboard and it'll make you feel really full. I'm feeling fine. I haven't really been having cravings. I had some cravings yesterday. And then I had a veggie burger. I had the first veggie burger I've ever had. And I have to say, I was quite surprised with how good it tasted. From like a meat eater's perspective, that was a decent burger. I would definitely start incorporating, if I went back to eating meats, I would incorporate veggie burgers as a nice, cool, low-fat option when eating out. I don't know what all the different restaurants use for their veggie burgers, so maybe that would backfire because it's not the same one that I ate, and there might be variance in tastes. But yeah, I was really surprised. So I'll talk about, I just talked about it. I was surprised veggie burgers actually can taste quite good. And then today for dinner, I made chili sin carne. So chili without chicken. I subbed in TVP, or textured vegetable protein, which I knew how much I needed to hit the protein macros that I wanted, but I've never used it before, so I didn't know how much. I think it was 125 grams of TVP is, especially once you soak it. Holy volume, Batman. That was, I looked at it and I was like, oh, I don't know if I can eat all this, because it really does mimic the texture of meat. And if I had to eat that much meat, I'd be profusely sweating right now. I would have crazy meat sweats. But it was actually really light. The best way I can describe it is like ground beef that weighs like a feather, and it digests really well. So trying new things, that's what I tried today, was TVP, chili sin carne. For lunch, I had a shake. I made a protein blend just because breakfast was oatmeal, and oatmeal is also volume intensive. I just needed easy calories that I could down. So I made a protein shake with some almond milk, fruits, and obviously protein. Vegan protein. People were like, oh, did he also switch out his supplements when going vegan? Yes, I did. I switched them all out. The only one that I have not yet is vitamin D, which the capsules have gelatin, but I already paid for them, so I figure I might as well finish them off before switching to a completely vegan source for vitamin D. I just couldn't find one that was the quality that I was looking for over the weekend, unfortunately. So I guess technically not the first day of vegan. I don't know. Super strict vegans might say that it's not a true day of veganism, but whatever, I'm counting it. Second day of being vegan, feeling all right. Training went pretty well. I was able to kick it, did pretty well. It's day 2, going well, not having cravings. Except, like I said yesterday, I was out and about and I was kind of craving some meat. I was having a bit of fear of missing out going on, and I wanted to sink my teeth into some meat. Got home, made veggie burgers, was really pleasantly surprised with the veggie burgers. Anyway, I'm going to cut this off. This is getting way too long. I'm going to try and keep these a bit more shorter in the future and not ramble on. That's why I had this, and I didn't keep my thoughts organized when it came to the veggie burger, and I just ranted on. So enough about that experience. Also, on my blog, on my website, pointbreakfit.com, I finally published, I'd written this a while ago, my reflections on the 2018 CrossFit Open, kind of going over my goals and my mindset going into the workouts versus what actually ended up happening, versus my retests, versus my expectations for the retests and what ended up happening in the retests and all that sort of stuff. I tried to keep it organized, tried to keep it kind of my own thoughts and not make it super formal. But I don't know. Let me know what you think about that too if you do end up reading it, and give me some feedback about that as I make my way through this crazy journey into veganism and trying new things, and pushing my comfort zones and my boundaries, and hopefully growing from this. All right, so that's it for today. Peace out, guys.